Lucky for us, September weather has been very nice, so we decided to start this week's Explore Tulsa with a new way to get some fresh air.
Then the legend of the bubble top.
Followed by motivation in power.
Plus a reason to break out the kilt.
Hi, I'm Stevie Fernandez.
And I'm Trish Whitmer. It's wonderful to have you back with us for this week's Explore Tulsa. Stevie, so have you been out enjoying the cooler temps?
Sure have, Trish. I've been out at the Riverwalk where they have these bikes. You don't even have to pedal.
What do you mean you don't have to pedal?
Well, you can pedal if you want, but at the Pedego Riverwalk, you do the enjoying while the bike does all the work.
It's funny because our owner kind of likes to refer it to as the Tesla of bicycles. I discovered Pedego electric bikes when I was on a family vacation in La Quinta, California. It was spring break this past March, and we were looking for something fun to do, and a Pedego electric bike store had just opened in La Quinta, and my mom suggested that we rented bikes. I wasn't really looking forward to it because it was about 95 degrees that day in March, and I wasn't ready for 95. But we went out and rode them anyway. And I tell you right now, I had the time of my life. We were there for 9 days, and it was the most fun I had the entire 9 days we were there. And I played golf 4 times, so. I immediately looked to open my own store after that. The CEO of Pedego is Don DiCostanza. He and his best friend, Terry, they started the company about, I think it was 9 years ago. And they love cycling. They live in Southern California. It's based in Fountain Valley, California, and they're from the Huntington Beach area. So there's lots of hills there. And he had a big hill right by his house that he always had to tackle right before he got home, and it was always the end of his bike ride. So they love cycling and hated hills. So they designed on a cocktail napkin, he and his buddy, the first electric bike that they had, and 9 years later, the growth of the company is quite astronomical, so it's a good company to be a part of. What makes our Pedego bikes so much fun to ride is they have a throttle, so you don't have to pedal if you don't want to, but you can pedal if you want to. Just like a regular bike, it's geared in such that it makes it easy to ride like a regular bike. You just have that throttle to twist when you come up on a hill, and it helps you get up a hill, or if you have a strong wind in your face and you just need a little boost, it's like having someone kind of push you from behind. It's a rear hub motor, so the motor is inside the rear axle, so it kind of pushes you from behind. And so having that gives you that extra power that you're looking for. And the battery lasts about 20 to 30 miles if you don't pedal, but the beauty is you can pedal with it, and that saves the battery power. My mom has, she definitely is young at heart, and as she's aged, her mobility is not as great as it was, and she's had some nerve issues. So it's really allowed her to have her freedom back and ride however far she used to be able to ride and not have a problem. So, and like I said, it's something that we can do as a family. She can ride with me and my wife and not feel like she's dragging the group behind because she can keep up with us. Yes, I think all the new construction and all the new additions to the bike trails and whatnot, the gathering place will be a huge asset to Tulsa. It'll be the spot that we've needed in this town for years for people to go to and have a good time and just be with their friends and family. Oh, everybody that has rented one comes back with this big old grin on their face, and some that can't afford them, they always say, the first time I get enough money, this is what I'm gonna come buy. These are a load of fun, this is the kind of bike, this is how makes bike riding fun again and not work. You can ride 10, 12 miles without sweating. That's the beauty of it, even when it's 95 degrees outside. I mean, you get a little warm, but you're going so fast it creates a breeze, so it's pretty fun. The part about Pedego bikes that make them so great is that when you ride as a family, nobody rides too fast. Everybody can stay together. It's a group thing. You go and have a fun as a family. When my thinking of bringing Pedego here, it wasn't about selling bikes. It was about bringing something fun for people to do here in Tulsa.
You know, Rick is right. Those are the Teslas of bicycles. I just wish electric bikes made a noise, you know, like I could imitate it.
To learn how you can enjoy a ride down the Riverwalk, visit PedegoElectricBikes.com.
I wonder if Darryl Starbird could put a bubble dome on my Pedego.
Ooh, we can ask him when we stop in at his National Rod and Custom Car Hall of Fame Museum. Next, when Explore Tulsa continues.
When eating products with high glycemic carbohydrates like sugar and flour, our bodies release large amounts of insulin to convert what we've consumed into usable energy.
If insulin is continually elevated, our bodies are signaled to store fat.
Keep in mind, sugar calories are deadly calories, which can lead to heart attacks, obesity, and type 2 diabetes.
The key is to keep insulin under control. Stay away from high glycemic index carbohydrates.
At least 80% of our daily carbohydrates should be from the low glycemic variety. Get our free glycemic index food chart at sherwoodwellness.tv.
When I listen to music, I close my eyes and it takes me away. Anytime we bring a new speaker into the studio, we tune the speaker for the room. Every room sounds different, and every environment that the speaker goes into affects the sound of the speakers. Now you can do the same thing at home that we do in the studio. I can think of no better feeling than to close your eyes and disappear into the music.
Come hear for yourself at Video Revolution.
Well, hello, and welcome back for more Explore Tulsa. Stevie, did you do much fixing up to your first car?
Not to my first car, but my second one, I really tricked it out with an L88 fiberglass Corvette hood scoop, 455 HO engine with a Holley double pumper, 4-barrel carb sitting on top of a high-rise little
Okay, whoa, let me stop you right there. When it comes to custom cars, there's only one guy that speaks that kind of car lingo.
Around Oklahoma and the world, you're talking about the legendary custom car builder himself, Darryl Starbird.
One of my pet peeves in them days, especially, was I didn't like Japanese cars. I'd sit down at the table and there's 5 Japanese designers there and me. Well, it turned out to really be a pleasant deal because they were overcome and just flabbergasted on the idea that I got to build a whole car because they work for the different Honda and Toyota and so forth. And they were a very small part of any part of the car, you know. So they were just amazed that I could do a whole car and actually call it my design. Well, the first car that really got me started on a national basis was a car called the Pearl, which was a 57 T-Bird. I took it to NHRA Nationals in Indianapolis at that time, or Detroit, to Detroit at that time. And it became the sweepstake champion at that Detroit show. And while I was there, they also picked my shop as the Custom Car Shop of the Year, NHRA, National Hot Rod Association. And Carcraft magazine was there, and they got to know the editor there, and he actually took that car and put it on the cover and made a big deal out of it. And I took it to the Grand National Roadster Show in California, and it became sweepstake champion there. It was top 10 of Rod and Custom magazine in 1960. Carcraft called it the Car of the Year. Motor Life magazine, Car of the Year. So in that era, right there, I become not only known nationally, I gained a real reputation nationally as a super builder, so to speak. Well, the most famous car is the one right behind us, the Pedego, and it was early, like to say, the whole start of the bubble top car. I've actually built over 150 cars, and for people from all over Canada, Panama, a couple in Europe. I built cars for people over the years. But, and I built all types of cars, not just a bubble top car. I built about every kind of car you can think of, actually. The aircraft influence on me back in the days when I was working at Boeing and so forth. Helicopters. In fact, I got first, when I had come up with the idea, I wanted to put a bubble top on a car. I had no idea how to do that, or even had an idea where to go to do it, I happened to run on the guy that had worked for Bell Helicopter down in Fort Worth, and the front of the early helicopters all had bubble tops on the front. He kind of explained to me how they did that, and I kind of converted that over into my thoughts. And the first one I did in 1959, I actually built my own oven because the sheet of plastic is 6 foot by 8 foot. It has to hang in there and get up to 350 degrees and has to get there even heating. And then that's laid down on a table and actually free blown. It doesn't actually touch anything except whatever I have restricting it. If your plastic touches or hits something like a mold, it kills the optics of it, so you can't have it actually hit anything. So they're all free blown, as you can see on my bubbles. I guess my movie experience that made me known mainstream, so to speak, was American Graffiti movie. And they mentioned my name in there in my car. And I probably get more comments about that little one line better than Darryl Starbird Super Flake Moonbird than I do all the cars I ever built. And even today I'll have somebody probably tell me they saw that movie and saw my name or heard my name in there.
It is! It's better than Darryl Starbird Super Flake Moonbird.
The fact that I've been able to do that, had the opportunities, and many breaks went my way. And I think I had a guardian angel, actually, kept track of me and kept me on the right track, too. But over and above that, it's just plain old hard work. When you're going to be successful in any business, you got to be dedicated 100% to that business. And unfortunately or fortunately, I was very dedicated to my career and to building cars, producing car shows, and becoming somewhat famous.
Darryl is such a great guy, and throughout the years, I've taken my kids to so many of his car shows, and to finally get to meet him was a real honor.
To possibly meet the legend for yourself, visit DarrylStarbird.com to plan a trip to his National Rod and Custom Car Hall of Fame Museum in Afton, Oklahoma.
I met a guy the other day that could probably actually pick up his Predicta all by himself.
Oh, you must be talking about Meta Tribe leader Big Bad Brad Johnson.
You better believe it, and we'll learn all about how Brad is reaching out to kids all over Green Country when Explore Tulsa continues.
Take charge of your health. We are what we put into our bodies.
We approach medicine from a unique standpoint. Rather than treating only the symptoms of an illness, we work to find the root cause and promote wellness of the entire body.
Our clinic offers complete assessment and treatment programs, including hormone replacement therapy, osteopathic manipulative therapy, and genetic DNA testing. It all starts with a medical evaluation.
Contact us today to begin your path to wellness.
Sony and Video Revolution take you there. From space travel to world championships. Tomorrow's technology today. 4K smart TVs and the largest flat screens available. Now more than ever, you have the best seat in the world when history is made. Video Revolution. On the northwest corner, 71st and Lewis.
Hey, welcome back to Explore Tulsa. Now watch this, Trish. I'm going to show off my strong ability.
That sandbag only weighs like 10 pounds and hardly qualifies as a strongman challenge.
Hey, you got to start somewhere.
That is the idea behind the Metamorphosis Tribe, led by Big Bad Brad Johnson in his quest to help kids all over Green Country.
Self-motivation is something that is a beautiful thing that I possess. And it's knowing that there's a problem, and instead of complaining about the problem, doing something about it. Like after somebody complains about something 3 times, they're not allowed to complain about it anymore. If you don't have a solution for the problem, then stop talking about it. If you're not actively pursuing a solution for that problem, then stop talking about it. So instead of me complaining about, oh, this generation and people aren't pushing themselves and people aren't motivated and people need to learn self-discipline and self-motivation, I need to be that example. So MetaTribe is short for Metamorphosis Tribe. So metamorphosis is the transformation, and I would like to see the transformation within becoming reality. And then a tribe is everyone coming together and being a tribe of people that are looking to transform. It's hard for people to transform themselves because they don't realize their true potential. So I help them see their true potential. So when they come through, when I see kids and I'm working with whoever I'm working with, it's going, how much further can you go? How much further can you be pushed? And then having that fine balance between working them, but not overworking them, stressing them, but not overstressing them. So a lot of the students that I have right now are based out of Bartlesville. So I have some schools there. I work with 4th and 5th grade boys. I've been doing that for the past, wow, this makes 10 years that I've been going and working with those boys. But I also have options where I get to go into high schools and I go into middle schools here in Tulsa, where I speak at assemblies and then talk to them about mental and physical health and well-being and being able to drive themselves and pushing themselves further than what they think they can do. The kids today are missing the whole play realm. They don't know how to go outside and play. They're so used to being spoon-fed entertainment through video games and through television to where they're just like, I don't really have to think. I don't really know how to play. You know, versus when we were kids, it was go out and play and man, the street light just came on, now I gotta go back home. I lost track of time. Now they go outside and just look around and go, well, what do I do? I'm bored. Like pick up a stick, throw it, come on, do something, invent a game, you know, be playful. And they're just so, I'm bored, and then they just shut down. And yet again, one of the things that I try to teach them is, you know, go inside your mind, create something, and then make it happen. So I am a former pro strongman. I actually traveled the world representing not only Oklahoma, but also the United States in several places. There's different strength sports, and strongman is basically picking whatever obstacle up or object up and being able to run with it. Some you might pick something up and throw it, you might carry it, you might pull it. I've pulled planes, I've pulled trains, automobiles, picked them up. Yeah, it's a good sport. In all honesty, I've always wanted to be a superhero. And this is my way of contributing to the superhero realm. Like it's being able to do something most people can't do and then be able to show that it's possible. So by doing what I do, I show people anything that you put your mind to, you can accomplish. So you see that, most people can't pick that up, well I can pick it up, and let me show you how you can pick it up. And then it just translates into life. So I had the opportunity to be able to travel with Discovery Channel and BBC. Myself and 5 other athletes, 3 from the US, 3 from the UK, all traveled the world, and we lived with indigenous tribes. And we learned their culture and their sport. So we all competed against each other and the indigenous people at these sports to see who was the best athlete. We did 12 shows, so there was 12 tribes. There was Akakiti kick fighting in Nagaland, India. There was Zulu stick fighting, which was a crazy experience where I literally thought I was going to die. There was Mongolian wrestling in Mongolia with the nomads. There's Brazilian hookah wrestling where you're in the middle of the Amazon fighting indigenous people, and that's what they do, is fight. It was a great experience because I got to experience other cultures and other tribes. So it really brought home, we need to bring community back to the US. Community is a huge, huge thing that's missing within our culture. And part of MetaTribe is bringing people together as a tribe and living as a people and start utilizing each other in a way that is beneficial to everyone.
Brad has some great ideas for motivating kids. I think I'd like for you to start calling me Big Bad before my first name.
Big Bad Little Stevie is a double negative and just doesn't work. But Brad's program at MetaTribe does. Look for Brad on Facebook by searching for Metamorphosis Tribe Gym.
I tell you where a metamorphosis takes place.
Where's that?
Scotfest. Strongmen in kilts throwing telephone poles are next when we return with more Explore Tulsa.
We do podiatry, we do dental oral appliances, we do women's health, We see children, pediatrics, and overall family care.
I'm a primary care provider for Sooner Care. We're also taking commercial insurances now as well. Any given day, I might do a well child on a 4-day-old baby and then see a 72-year-old who's here because they need to follow up on their sleep study.
Patients seem to like the idea where they can just come here and they don't have to worry about going to all these different specialists, whether they need a sleep study or a CPAP machine or diabetic shoes or an oral appliance. We help bring all that to the table for them.
And especially with oral appliances, custom fit by a specially trained dentist, and we have Dr. Bennett, who's the best in the business.
It has been my dream to be able to work with all the specialties together. There are not many places in the United States that have all parts of this together. To me, it's amazing, and that's truly how sleep and patient care should be.
Hi again, and welcome back for more Explore Tulsa.
I tell you what, I had my doubts about wearing a kilt, but I kind of like it. Comfy, plenty of room with just the right amount of breeze.
Oh, brother, look, you're supposed to save your kilt for Scotfest.
Well, it's going on now, and I'm heading right over there after the show for the big fun, music, and sport.
It's kind of a funny story. What we basically try to do is take everything you see in Outlander and add kind of a rock music element to it and kind of bring it to life. That's a really generalized way to describe it because there's so many moving parts. But it started 38 years ago. A group of off-the-boat Scotsmen got together and decided that they wanted to celebrate the culture. Just so happened we've actually had a Scottish club in Tulsa since the 1950s, so there was already kind of a foundation of people that were wanting to get involved. And so they got together and figured, we'll get some bands, we'll get some pipes and drums, we'll do throw some telephone poles around, and that's how it started in 1979. My grandparents were good in recognizing that knowing where you come from is a really important thing. And my dad was always kind of interested, just kind of had a passing interest. And so, I grew up eating Scottish food in the house, English food in the house. And as I grew older, being able to identify with where I came from and really understanding, not only where I came from, but what I'm capable of was really important. And so for me, it's become, now I have 3 children, and now all 3 of my kids, I have, we took one home from the hospital in a kilt, and it's symbolic of really just having a full understanding of who you are, because so many people go through life going, oh, well, my last name is Jones, but I know nothing about it. I don't ever want my kids, or for that matter, anybody that I come in contact with, to ever feel like they've never had that opportunity. So, like 10% of Americans can actually claim Scottish heritage. And one of the things that we've held to our core is the fact that we're always just one generation away from somebody forgetting. And so a big part of it is people being able to come out and learn more about their heritage. Everybody's got a story about how, oh, well, we're Scottish or we're Irish, but very few people really know the full story of kind of how their family began. Well, Scottish clans have been absolutely fantastic at keeping records for the last several hundred years. And so we bring a lot of those guys out, and it's all about educating people to understanding where they came from. And then on top of that, it's the athletics. A lot of people know Scottish athletics from people throwing cabers around. It looks like a guy tossing a telephone pole. There are a couple more moving parts to that. There's the sheaf toss, the farmer's carry, stone throw. I mean, there's a couple of other things that most people don't recognize as really being an originated sport in Scotland. Yeah, whiskey's a big part of it. Beer's a big part of it. We actually bring out, this year we'll actually have 20 different taps on of different beers, and a number of different beers from Scotland, even some that you can't get in the state of Oklahoma regularly throughout the year. So they bring them in just specifically for our festival. There's piping and drumming. The music side of the Scottish culture is always been a major part of it. We have a big dance competition. There's been, Highland dancing's been around for the last 300 or 400 years, and that's grown each and every year. Now we're actually hosting a pretty big regional contest. Tons of food, and what Mike Myers says about Scottish food is not true. It is not based upon a dare. Scottish food, believe it or not, it's not just haggis either. There's lots of different things. Sausage rolls, you've got meat pies. My favorite is a bridie, which is like a flaky pastry with some fantastic meat and spices and it's wonderful. And there's a big variety of not only Scottish food, but we also try to make it a little bit, more towards the American palate. We offer barbecue, and we're also hosting Euros from Ali this year. I mean, there's literally something for everyone. For me, I grew up in Oklahoma City, so seeing how different culturally Tulsa is from Oklahoma City, I think my dad would probably get mad at me for saying this out loud, but I think Tulsa's a little bit more refined than Oklahoma City when it comes to appreciating different cultures. We have the 9th largest Oktoberfest in the world. We've got a bustling Greek fest that's continuing to grow. Scotfest has grown over 150% in the last decade. We're up over 25,000 people through the gate every year. So it's a great feeling to be a part of seeing people identify more with that festival, whether it's because of their family or if it's just for the plain fact that they like to come out and have a good time with a bunch of gingers. Either way, for me, it's really gratifying to be able to see the kind of growth that we've had and to see people respond to it.
Rick takes a lot of pride in his heritage, so much so, just hearing him talk about Scotfest makes me want to go do the caber toss.
Don't throw your back out, Stevie. To join in on the fun for yourself, look for Scotfest Tulsa on Facebook.
Trish, you think this kilt makes me look fat?
Really? That's all you got?
I guess I could do my Highland dance.
Oh, stick around. We'll be right back with more Explore Tulsa just ahead.
Hi, Dr. Robert Zellner here. For over 20 years, I've offered affordable, convenient eye care in Tulsa. Right now, you can get one pair of glasses or contact lenses starting at just $99 or my 2-pair deal for $129. Hey, and as always, the eye exam's included. Walk-ins are always welcome. Glasses are ready in about an hour. Plus, we have over 2,000 frames to choose from. We're open 7 days a week. Come see why we're voted Tulsa's best. And our drive-thru at 69th and Memorial makes pickup simple and easy. For the best eye care value in Tulsa, Dr. Robert Zellner and Associates.
Be sure and join us next week when we stop in at American Hatfield in Broken Arrow.
Special thanks to Matt Burkhart for letting us take a spin on his new electric bikes at Pedego Riverwalk.
Thanks too to Darryl Starbird for sharing his story and amazing cars with us, and special thanks to Brad Johnson for visiting with us about his Metamorphosis Tribe and all the good things he's doing for kids.
Plus thanks to Rick Rutledge for bringing all the fun and the tradition that Scotfest has to offer.
Remember, if you missed any of the show, you can always catch us at exploretulsa.com.
As always, each week we feature the people, places, and attractions that make us proud to call Tulsa our home.
And hey, don't forget to like us on Facebook and share with us someone you think Tulsa should know more about.
Plus, remember, Explore Tulsa is brought to you by Video Revolution, located on the northwest corner of 71st and Lewis.
Stop by, say hello to Ron and all the guys for all your home entertainment needs.
And Explore Tulsa is also proudly brought to you by Dr. Robert Zollner and Associates.
Home of Tulsa's best eye care value with 2 locations, 3030 South Harvard and 69th and Memorial.
And we welcome our newest sponsors, Doctors Mark and Michelle Sherwood at 61st and Sheridan.
Remember, your journey to whole body healing and wellness begins with the Functional Medical Institute.
Well, that's all the time we have for you on this week's show, but we'll see you next week right here on Explore Tulsa.